Hello. This is the video series on workout journals and keeping track of our workouts. This is part 3 of a 3-part series. In the first 2, we talked about why you need to track your workouts. We talked about what to track for your workouts. Today, we're going to talk about how to track your workouts. Again, this is part 3 of a 3-part series. I'm going to link down below in the description to the first 2 videos. As we dig into how to track this, let me pause a sec. My name is Chris Butterworth. This is the Healthy Butter channel. We talk on this channel about being in our 50s and our 60s and fighting back against father time every day, every step of the way. Your 50s are unlike anything you've experienced earlier in your life. You wake up one day and just something doesn't work right. You go to do something and your shoulder tears. Like, we become paper mache versions of ourselves. I went through back, elbow, shoulder in a pretty big way in my early 50s, and today I feel great. And functional fitness, kettlebells, clubs, and Mace fixed me. That's what this channel is all about. I learned a whole bunch of stuff on my own. I was kind of on an island doing this, and I'm trying to make your life a little bit easier than mine was. I also would really love to have a community. I'd love to be able to talk to people, to ask questions, to answer questions, and where we learn from each other. So that's what we're trying to build here. If we're going to be successful, if we're going to fight against father time, if we're going to get rid of this chronic pain in our back, we need to be consistent with our workouts, and tracking our workouts is the way to do it. We have to track. Otherwise, you're just doing stuff and you're not sure what you did, what you need to do, how long it's been since you did it. It's just sort of gut feeling, and nobody has ever conquered the world on gut feeling. We want to have a plan. When we talk about journaling, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you probably know what I think about this. We are not one size fits all. There is not one exercise that's perfect for all of us. As much as I believe in kettlebell, club, and mace, along with a few other things, those are the primaries, we are all going to have a favorite exercise, an exercise we don't like as much, one that makes us feel invigorated and refreshed while also being fatigued. And then there's going to be another exercise that I don't know why we do that. I don't like that one so much. And it's not going to be the same for us. We're all different. And tracking our stuff is no different. Some of us read, some of us, read a paper book. Some of us read on our Kindle. Some of us listen to audiobooks, right? Some of us keep journals. Some of us don't. Some of us keep spreadsheets. Some of us don't. There's not a right or wrong way. In the first video, we talked about how important it is to track, and I'll stand by that. If you're going to be successful, you need to track. In the second video, we talked about what to track, what parts of your workout are important to track. Now we're just talking about how to do it. And really, I think there's 2 primary methods. You're either a little more creative, less restricted, feelings-based, touchy-feely a little bit, and maybe a journaling app or a spiral notebook even, Microsoft Word, whatever it is, where you're just kind of like, here's what I did today, and here's how I felt about it. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the same format every time. You can focus on what's important. And I've done both. I've done a journaling app and I've done a spreadsheet, and I kind of have both running, and so I understand the strengths of them both pretty well. The journaling app to me gives you a lot of freedom to talk about not just the numbers that you did. I did this many reps of this many sets, blah blah blah, but how you felt about it. And kind of a note to your future self. If I'm looking back at this a year from now, this is what I thought was hard about it. This is what I'm happy with. This is kind of where I am in my program, and these are the things I'm working on. And I think that's really cool to be able to go back and read those. The other thing you could tell your future self is next week, when I do this workout again, you make a note to yourself to, hey, this was pretty easy. Let's go ahead and move up next time. Or, I barely got through this one. We better do this one a couple more times before we move up. There's nothing wrong with that. When I started my journal, one of the reasons that I was leaning toward Excel is because I thought I was going to do a lot of filtering and sorting and really kind of getting a trend of what I was doing. I wanted to see the numbers and I wanted to, let's make a graph of it and show my chart and all that. The reality is nobody cares. I'm not going to show that to anybody. It didn't really matter to me because your sets get there wasn't really a consistent thing to show. But my mind works in Excel. So I went right to Excel and I wrote it all, column. Here's everything I'm going to track. And that way I can go back later and I can see the history. And while that's true, I can sort it by date. I can filter on the particular workout and I can see exactly what I've done. I rarely do that. It doesn't really help me for anything. It's kind of the same thing as the journal. Really, I either want to look at last workout and see what I did so that I can move forward next time, or I want to look 6 months ago, a year ago, and see where I was so that I can see how much progress I've made. None of that matters whether it was Excel or a journal app. So I don't think that either one of those, whatever works for you is the right way to do it. In the Excel, the one thing that I would add is if your mind is kind of engineering style, detail style, spreadsheet based, and you want to do it in Excel, I would add a column in there for notes so that you can write a quick note to yourself, do this again next time, or it's ready to move up, or that was really hard. Even if it's just a one phrase, I recommend making yourself a note. If you do it on the journal side, don't forget the details, right? It can't only be touchy-feely. Look at video 2 and what to track, and make sure you get all those details in there every time, because otherwise you're going to confuse yourself as you start to move forward. I've talked about a journal app. I've talked about Excel. It doesn't have to be a digital version. There is nothing wrong with a spiral notebook and a pen, right? Open it up, boom, click, 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 write a couple handwritten notes, make one or two sentences, close it up. That's fine. And again, spiral notebook, it can be kind of detailed like Excel, and you can write all your, all your details about the workout and maybe one sentence, or it can be more like a journal, and you can write some sentences about it and then just put in there a couple of, the numbers that you need to track. So there's nothing wrong with that. Microsoft Word is kind of like a combination of those. It's sort of like an online spiral notebook. If you have Evernote or OneNote or Keeper, any of those kind of things, you could use that just as well. The actual app that you use has no significance into your success other than, are you comfortable with it? Is there a barrier to entry? I like mine because I can get to them from my phone or from my computer. Sometimes I do a workout and after the workout, I just open my phone and touch it in there. Sometimes I come back to my desk later and I notate it from my desk. So again, absolutely no right or wrong. They all have advantages, but just like everything else we've talked about on this channel, you got to do the one that works for you so that you can do it consistently. If you have a journal app that you love, use it. If you're in Microsoft Excel every day, use it. Like whatever works. Please go back and watch, if you haven't already, watch video 1, watch video 2. Let's make sure that that we're actually on board and tracking our workouts. That's what's going to make us successful. If this was helpful at all, please like and subscribe, and we'll grow this channel and we'll grow this community together. I really appreciate it. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope you're able to build a great program for yourself. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Go get better.